My millionaire dad told me to choose art or family money. I picked art, and he cut me off completely. What happened next proved that sometimes the people who abandon you become your greatest supporters, but only after you prove you don't need them. I'm Jackson Crawford, 32 years old, and this is the story of how losing everything from my father led me to build something worth far more than any inheritance could have given me. My father, Richard Crawford, was the CEO of Crawford Industries, a commercial real estate development company that managed a $3.8 billion portfolio across North America. My childhood was defined by his success: private schools, country club memberships, summer homes in the Hamptons. My parents divorced when I was 12, and Dad's wealth actually increased after the split. He threw himself into work with even more intensity. I was supposed to follow the Crawford trajectory. Ivy League education, business degree, then a position in the family company. That was the plan Dad had outlined for me since I was old enough to understand the concept of legacy. But at age 16, I discovered art. Not as a hobby or side interest, as a calling that felt more real than anything else in my life. I took a painting class at school almost by accident, filling a requirement I'd been putting off. The first time I mixed colors and transferred them to canvas, something shifted inside me. I felt a presence, a purpose, a reason to exist that I'd never felt before. By senior year of high school, I was painting constantly. I'd converted my bedroom into a studio, spending every free moment creating. My father noticed immediately and was not pleased. "This painting thing is fine as a hobby," he told me during one of our infrequent dinners together. "But it's not a career, Jackson. It's not sustainable. You need to focus on real education." What if I don't want a real education? What if I want to pursue art? You want to be poor and struggling? That's not the Crawford family way. You have advantages, opportunities. Throwing them away for paint and canvas is ungrateful and foolish. I got into Yale, Northwestern, and Columbia for college. I chose the School of the Art Institute of Chicago because it offered the best fine arts program, even though it meant disappointing my father in ways I was beginning to understand were inevitable. Dad didn't attend my graduation from the Art Institute. He sent a check for $25,000 and a letter saying he hoped I'd come to my senses eventually. After graduation, I moved to Brooklyn, the way struggling artists do. I worked a series of part-time jobs: bartending, serving, freelance graphic design. I painted at night and weekends, submitting work to galleries that rejected me with polite form letters or no response at all. My father maintained contact, but it was strained. He'd ask about my plans to get into business, mention job openings at Crawford Industries, and occasionally send checks that felt more like bribes than support, as if money could tempt me away from my passion. "You're wasting your education," he'd say. "You could be making six figures in business. Instead you're making nothing as an artist." He wasn't wrong about the money part. I was making almost nothing. But I was happy in a way I'd never been before. In 2018, at age 26, I finally got my first real gallery show. It was a small gallery in the Lower East Side, featuring 3 emerging artists. My 6 paintings were displayed, priced between $2,000 and $4,000 each. I invited my father to the opening. He showed up, looked at the paintings for maybe 5 minutes, and took me to dinner at an expensive restaurant. Over appetizers, he delivered his ultimatum. "This has to stop, Jackson. You're nearly 30. You need to get serious about your future."